Hello. Hello. Good afternoon, sir. Your voice is not audible. No, sir, not audible. Not audible, sir. Not audible. I think you have to change that settings. Mine also not audible. Now, sir. We'll ask the Sailesh. I'm audible. No, sir, not audible. No, no, no. Now you're on mute. If you can unmute.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear
Yes,
me now?
yes, yes, sir. Now you're
Okay,
audible.
great.
How are you doing, sir?
Okay.
Fine?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. All good, sir. All good. So we'll just wait. Maybe all the participants will join by 2:30.
How many participants?
So around 15 we can expect because there are around 15 startups. So 15 people will be there.
And do you have uh, can you break away into room on this?
We can create rooms, breakout rooms.
I'll tell
Hmm.
you towards the middle of the session, towards the first
Hmm.
break, I will need it.
Okay. So how many
Okay.
rooms you would you require?
15 people means I'll require 3 rooms.
3 rooms. Okay, fine. Okay.
3 rooms, and you can do it randomly. You
Hmm.
can pick randomly 5 people. There's no
Okay,
problem.
fine. Hmm.
You can just randomly pick 5 people.
Okay.
I'll tell you when we approach that. I'll tell you in detail.
Sure, sure. Sir. Sir, we'll wait for another 2 minutes just for more people to join.
Okay.
Sir, I think we can begin. Others will join us.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Your voice volume is low, sir.
How about now?
Yes, now good, sir. So
Okay, now.
yes. So welcome all to the pre-incubation session 9. So we'll begin with a short introduction about sir. So we have with us Mr. Sharath Parvatani. So he is a talented professional with a unique mix of skills and experiences. Currently, he is the director at You and Me Theatre, where he is working to make theatre more accessible and exciting for everyone. Mr. Sharath has a background in engineering, having earned his MS from Wright State University, but he also has a creative side with a diploma in screenwriting from the New York Film Academy. His skills include using Final Draft in Microsoft Office, making him a strong writer and creative director in the entertainment industry. At You and Me Theatre, Mr. Sharath combines interactive theoretical methods with innovative technology, making the experience truly special. Beyond the creative world, it also showcases involvement in the startup scene with connections in both entrepreneur and investor circles. With roles ranging from screenwriter to playwright, director, applied theatre expert, and theatre entrepreneur, Mr. Sharath's passion for the arts is evident. He's not just contributing to the world of theatre, he's making waves in creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship. I thank you, sir, for accepting our invite and being the speaker for this session and supporting our startups. I request you to kindly take over for this session, sir.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, everybody. I know it's right after lunch, probably, for some of you. But welcome, first of all, to this workshop or session titled Storytelling and Idea Articulation. So the topic is self-defining, but still we will delve deeper into it as the session progresses. Now, since this is a theater-based session, I'm not going to bore you with PPTs or any such thing, but I would request all of you, as many of you as possible, to turn your cameras on. Okay. It is an interactive session. There'll be activities here. pertaining to the topic, which will help you understand it better. So I would appreciate if you could turn on your camera so that I can see you, and we can see what you're doing because it's all activity based. Thank you so much, sir. Kindly, everybody, quickly turn your cameras on.
Kindly turn on your cameras.
Now,
Yes,
has
Dr.
anybody
Shailesh.
here watched a play or done some acting somewhere? Anybody? Okay, nobody. Fine. Um, I need a volunteer to stand up. Anybody? Anybody?
Yes, Dr. Ram.
Dr. Ram. Okay. Could you stand up, sir? Possible?
Sure, sir. You are not ragging me, right? Okay.
No, no, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. This is a theater-based session, so I want to start off with a uh, small fun thing. Now, think of a statue that you have seen or a still image that you've seen recently in your mind. Have you thought of it?
Can you repeat it? Statue?
Can you think of a statue you've seen or a still image that you've seen recently, somewhere, anywhere, and recreate it for us so that we can all, look at the statue or the still photograph?
Okay. Maybe the Ram idol we have seen in Ayodhya, right?
Oh, don't tell us anything, sir. Just keep it in your mind.
Oh, I should not tell
Okay.
you.
No, don't tell us.
Oh, that is the real challenge then. Because
Think
I
of
should tell
something
you.
and use your hands or your head or both, okay, to make it an actioning statue, a statue which is in the middle of an action. Have
But
you
a
thought about it?
statue kind of thing. Yeah, statue kind of, a stationary thing.
Stationary, but it should be like as if it has been clicked in the middle of an action
Okay, once
activity or
I
an
switch
action.
off the lights one second.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't look at me. Can you see me?
Yeah. We can. Okay. Sir, can you stay like that for a few seconds? Can you stay like that? Okay. Now the rest of us, let us reimagine what he is doing beyond the obvious. Okay. It looks like he is saluting, probably the flag or somebody, or he's in the army. But let us reimagine this, and you please tell us what he might be doing other than what is very obvious. Some of you can type it in the chat, some of you can actually participate, and tell us what he is doing here. For example, man, shouldn't have come to the desert. This is too hot. Sun is blinding my eyes. Is one way of looking at what he is doing. Correct? Now come up with other stuff. You can type it in chat or you can tell me here. What is he doing or what is he thinking? Hiding face from sunlight. Okay. Good. Then? Anybody else? Come on. Headache. Very good. Yeah. This is head. This is a yeah. So he looks like he's holding his head because he's got headache. Anybody else?
So then is it got hanged?
Yes, sir. Like I think his network issue is there.
Hope I can sit now.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, yes. You can sit. You can sit.
I have a meeting at 3:30. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe for 5-10 minutes I have to go and come.
Okay,
There
sir.
is some
Just
meeting 3:30. How
okay,
long
sir.
it is expected?
Correct. He has asked till 5. He needs time till 5.
Okay.
Oh,
Law.
So sorry, I got dropped off. Can you hear me now?
no. Yes, sir. Yes, you're audible.
Okay, okay. You can sit down, Dr. Ram. Thank you so much. Did we get any more reactions? I missed it, I guess.
No, sir. That's all.
That'll be all. Okay, cool. So now what we did was a simple exhibition of looking at something very obvious differently, right? That is what innovation is all about, right? Now, what we say is innovation is about two things: what and the how. What does this mean? Now, all of you have some business, startup or a product or a service that you're trying to, get rolling. Now, either you have found, you know, something that wasn't existing previously as a solution to a problem, or you have reimagined something that already exists and your product or service is going to better it. That's the hope, right? So either imagining something that doesn't exist and bringing it into fruition, or reimagining something existing and improving upon it or making it better. Your products or services in the startups will fall under one of these two categories. Fine. Now you have thought about something, you have a product or a service, and you have an innovative idea. What next? You have to communicate this idea next, right? To whom will you communicate this idea? Maybe to a co-founder, maybe to a team member, maybe to an investor, or to the media. You're going to be talking about your product or your service. You're going to be
You're on mute, sir. You're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes. Now you're audible.
Now I'm audible. Okay. Sorry. There's some fluctuation here. All right. So you have to communicate your idea, right? To either a co-founder or an investor or a team member or the media. How are you going to do this? That is the topic of this session. Now, what this session is about is we are going to use theatrical technique of storytelling to articulate, clearly, effectively express an idea, your idea, and build a story for your startup enterprise. That is the topic of today's session. Now the
Small
question,
correction, sir. Who we are talking to, sir? Who is the audience?
audience could be a co-founder that you have to convince to come on board. It could be a team member that you want to hire. It could be an investor that you're going to pitch to, or it could be the media if it gets to that stage. So to each and every person that you're going to get involved in your startup, either as a team member or a co-founder or a consumer or your customer, you will have to talk about your enterprise, right? Your idea, your product or your service. Now, regardless of who your audience is, of course, you can have different modules of storytelling and, different variations of same, depending on who you're talking to. For example, if it's an elevator pitch, you don't get much more than, half a minute or maximum a minute, then you'll have to condense your story idea. You will have to articulate your idea in a very concise but very effective manner that leaves it memorable. Or if it could be a 5-minute pitch or a 10-minute pitch, depending on that, your story idea will have to be either expanded or contracted, but should not lose its effectiveness. What we're going to do today is give you the basics, solid basics of storytelling, which you can then expand or contract into a module that suits the occasion of who you are pitching to. All right. But first of all, listen, why is storytelling or business storytelling or articulating through a story important? Anybody?
Sir, it drives the message with ease and it makes it emotional and live, not as a mechanical, data transfer. Humans are a bundle of emotions at whatever
Absolutely
age
right.
you are. So when you
Yes.
attach an emotion to an
Yeah.
message, appeal or a drive, then I believe, because I'm a faculty.
Yeah.
So when you teach, even you
Yeah.
give a drive to them, then they will read. You don't have to do the data transfer. So storytelling, I always remember that Shivaji Maharaj, that it's changed the history of India. So storytelling is to me everything. I used to tell my wife, Mahabharata and all that is given in the story form because that covers everything. Yours is hanging, sir.
Correct. Yeah, you're absolutely right, sir. So stories are how human beings naturally stories. It is hardwired in us. Ever since the early cavemen, wrote drawings and depicting their daily life or whatever it was, they struggled. You could make sense of their life through the stories that they left on the cave, as drawings or paintings. And storytelling has evolved over the years, over the ages. Stories give relatability to the listener. The listener is absorbed into the story when you're narrating facts or an event. How to draw in the person who's listening, making it interesting. That's the way, right? How to make it interesting in the form of a story. If you put anything in the form of a story, it becomes immediately more interesting to listen to. We are hardwired to make sense of our life through story. You achieve deeper engagement with the listener through stories. As Dr. Ram rightly mentioned, the emotional connect with the characters of the story or the relatability of the story, okay, makes them memorable. We remember it. We might not remember, a document with cold, hard facts. Important as it might be, it's not necessary that we remember it. Like, I'm sure even in your exams in schools and colleges, sometimes if you have to remember a list of things, you would create your own story around it, or you would create a poem around it or whatever, just so that you could remember it. It makes it more memorable. Once you achieve a deeper engagement with the listener, that is possible when the story is relatable and interesting, when there is an emotional connect to the story or the characters, the person listening remembers it. That is what we do either in theater or film or TV. When we write, our intention is to evoke emotion from the audience. That is the whole ball game, right? To find an emotional connect with the audience. This is exactly what businesses have to do as well, especially startups. There are a million startups out there, and to make your stand apart, cut through the rest, you will have to narrate your business story in an engaging and entertaining way, while sticking to the facts, how to insert facts into the story. All that we're going to learn in this session. Once you achieve a good standard of storytelling in your business about your product or service, what you achieve is the listener is now personally invested in your idea Because once somebody listens to a story, they feel that, I am a part of this story now, just by the act of listening to it, just by the act of being engaged in the story. They are now personally invested in your product or idea through the story. So this is the importance of business storytelling. We will get to that. Before we head into that, what I want to do now is I want three volunteers to narrate your business story to us. Whatever your idea is, or whatever your service is, what your startup enterprise is about. In 2 minutes each, please narrate to us or tell us your business story. Who wants to go first? We can accommodate 3 people, 2 minutes per person. Narrate your story. Now this is very important, and you will get to know why at the end of the session, that you tell your story idea right. Raise your hand, anybody who wants to go? Don't think about it too much. Just narrate it as you would if you met somebody today that you had to tell your story to. How would you narrate it? You just narrate it to me and the rest of us.
Yes, Dr. Ram, would you
Sure,
like
then
to?
just randomly pick 3 people.
Anybody is doing?
We need 2 more. Yeah.
I will do, sir. No problem.
Yes, sir. Dr. Ram.
I'm just noting down the storyline.
Yeah, sure.
Anyone else who is would like
Anyone
to
else?
share
Please
their?
be ready. I need at least 2 or 3 people to do it. Well, you're all startups, right? You have to tell your story. So please don't hide behind your cameras. You'll have to tell your stories at some point. This is the place where you refine it, where you learn how to tell it. So if you don't tell me your story, we cannot work on it.
Harish Bhatt.
Okay,
Then
Harish Bhatt will go second, and third one, you, Shodan, who's the third person?
Dr. Manoj could try.
Dr. Manoj. Okay. Let's go, Dr. Ram.
Yes, sir. I'll put my clock. Yes, sir. Good evening, all. So nice. All of our friends are meeting with a cup of tea here. I just want to share, the idea I have here. So basically, if you see, when we are all brought up in our days, those days, mother will cook fresh, food and fresh fruits, and especially amla and all we love to eat along with salt, and a lot of way of natural eating was there. Now, if you see, now we don't have time to eat anything now. We just quickly eat something and run to the office. So what happens is we lost all the supplementation of natural vitamins and everything. So which end up in affecting all our part of our life, right from conceiving after marriage, or pollution, allergy because of pollution, especially kids, or stress in the job. So it's all is because of lack of vitamin C, which we are not aware. So it is affecting the entire life of ours. So what no, it is good if you have to adapt your eating style based on the current situation. We don't have time to prepare anything. So I believe we should bring these amla kind of things into a tasty, ready to make and ready to eat. So that now yav time we can make it dissolve with a soda or water and drink it. So you get immediate fresh vitamin C and other vitamins, and still keep you with fibers. Your blood sugar will also be controlled, and it will be so nice. You feel very fresh. So now ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ತಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತೇನೆ, ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ try ಮಾಡಿ. You all people should try that. ನಾನು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿ, I am enjoying that. So I want to you people also to make that and see. So ಅದು ನೋಡಿ ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಉಂಟಂತ. So it will be ನನ್ನ ತಾಯಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ, and it will be really good for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ram. Now, question for the rest of you. Please participate. You can raise your hand right there, using the icon, or you can physically raise your hand coming onto the camera. How many of you clearly understood the idea behind the enterprise? How many of you clearly understood? Come on, guys, some engagement. Am I talking to only one person?
You can use that raise hand option.
Yeah, please use that. How many of you clearly understood the idea? Just understood. Nobody
Probably
understood?
they don't want to hurt me, maybe.
Nobody understood, I'm going to assume. Okay. So since you didn't understand, I wanted to ask next, how many of you liked the idea or were excited by the idea? Okay, we'll move on to, thank you, Dr. Ram. We'll move on to Mr. Harish Bhatt.
So currently, I'm like, I have a background noise near me, so I can't.
We can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you, sir. You can go ahead.
Okay, basically, my idea is about a medical training kit, where the medical training kits were all are from exported, not manufactured in India, or they are being exported from the other countries. So it was said by our NITE Institute, friend institution, NITE institution itself. So they just gave a problem statement, so we solved it, and I got a chance to put this idea to this entrepreneurship competition, so where I have till now. Basically, why I choose this idea, because in India nobody are like market competition, and we can manufacture the things in a reduced cost, so that all people of India will be benefited by it. That's also.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Harish. So how many of you clearly understood what Mr. Harish's idea was or product was? Raise your hand. How many of you?
Kindly use the chat box. You can type in like if you have understood or not.
You have the raise hand icon
Yeah.
option. You have the chat option. So please use it. If you don't interact, then it'll just be another PPT session, which I don't want it to be. Please engage in this session. It will be very useful, I promise you. How many of you clearly understood the idea? Nobody understood? You can say it. You can say we didn't understand or we did understand. Or you can type in the chat. They all logged in and left and are doing their thing, I think. Nobody is in front of the system.
To some extent, we can understand, not fully. Because
Okay,
the
not
time
fully.
is too limited for a big story, or we are not able to compress it, either way.
Okay. Okay, fine. So you understood a little bit of it, right? But not clearly, completely.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I will now get into the business storytelling part of it. As in, first I'll get into how storytelling works, what storytelling entails, what are the steps involved in storytelling. Then we will come and apply it to your business storytelling. All right. So first, simple storytelling, not just simple, effective storytelling. Now, I'm sure you all have read books, watched movies, TV, plays, web series, etc. You consume a lot of content. Now, what captures we respond emotionally and viscerally to, a story. But we don't know what underlay the story, what was underneath the story, upon which the story itself was constructed. What are the dynamics, or what is the mechanism underneath the story that made it so effective? As an audience, as a consumer, I only respond to the story. I liked it, I did not like it. I was bored, or I was, enthralled. But what is it that makes the story effective? What are the steps involved in it that the writer has used to communicate an effective story that engages your right brain and your left brain? As in, it makes sense and it touches your heart. Okay? It leaves you with an emotion. Now, this is storytelling. And let me just share, one second, let me just share a document. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So storytelling and idea articulation. Now, as I said, right brain plus left brain equals right brain. Good effective storytelling has to engage both your right brain and your left brain. It means your logical side, the chain of events must be logical, and it must have a dose of emotion ingrained in it. This combination will make your story effective and memorable. You will remember it. Right? That's a wholesome experience when your logical side, analytical side, and your emotional side both are captured by the story. That story leaves a mark, is memorable. We will learn how to write such a story and what are the steps involved in the same. Okay. These are the storytelling steps. Okay. Every good story or great story that you have ever heard, read, seen, appreciated, underlying the story will be these steps. These are very simple steps. Within them, there are complicated other steps with sub steps and all of that, but that is not required for our purposes. We just need to understand these simple steps and how to apply them in creating a story. And then later on apply to our business story. And we will be, narrating an effective story to whoever your audience is, depending on whether you have to expand it or condense it. That's the later thing. So these are the 5 storytelling steps we're going to explore today. As you can see, normal world, step number 1. Problem, step number 2. Struggle, step number 3. Resolution, step number 4. And new world, step number 5. Now we'll go through each of these storytelling steps. Now we are going to illustrate these story building steps with the example of a movie, which you might not have seen. This movie was like about 50 years ago in America, but it was the beginning of what you call the summer blockbuster in America. Like every summer, a big movie used to come out, and this movie started that trend. It was Steven Spielberg's first ever, successful movie, Jaws. How many of you have seen Jaws or heard of it? Any of you have seen or heard of it? Okay.
What is the name you said?
Jaws, Jaws.
Old one, right? Old Jaws.
Old one.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So Tushar Rai says he's seen it. Okay. So for those of who you have not seen, don't worry about it. I'm going to take you through the story via the storytelling steps. This came out in 1975. Okay. and it was a huge blockbuster, and they made Jaws 2, 3, 4 and all. But this was the movie that changed the game in America in many ways, in Hollywood. Now we're going to see how Jaws applies the 5 storytelling steps. Step number 1 is called normal world. As the word itself, the title itself explains, it means the way things are at present, status quo. For example, like, what is your daily, how is your world daily, every day? Like, I wake up, I go for a run, I come back, I, take a shower, have my breakfast, get ready for work, and then I go. And then I come back in the evening, braving the traffic, or, and then I have some things lined up that I do outside of work. I mean, I might go to a movie, or I might, watch a movie on Netflix, or hang out with friends, etc., etc., etc. This is what is there right now in my life. Okay, how things are at present, whatever it is. This is the normal world. Now let's see how Jaws, the movie, presents its normal world. Okay, how are things at in the world of Jaws? We'll see. So this is a town called Amity, Amity, Amity in Jaws. It is a summer town, as in it is active only in the 3 months of summer that Northeast America gets. Say from June to September is when it is most active. It is a vacation town, a beach town. All the revenue comes when travelers across the country come and enjoy the beach and all the facilities over there. They stay there for a while and then they leave, because summer is the beating sun is very rare there. It's mostly cold, etc. So the summer is a time for outdoor activity. So we are introduced to this calm, fun beach town called Amity Island, somewhere in Northeast America, and you see revelers, travelers coming there, having fun, doing campfires, etc., partying, etc. And we are introduced to the mayor of the town in the bottom of the picture, who is very excited about the upcoming 3 months of summer. And you can see the travelers behind him. They're all excited and ready to have fun. So we meet the mayor, and what are his plans to maximize these 3 months in terms of reputation of the town and the revenue that it will bring. We also introduced to the sheriff on top, the local sheriff, and we meet his family, his wife, his children, etc. What he does, he's the sheriff of the town, and he is responsible for the security of the beaches, etc. during these 3 months. Okay? We are introduced to them, and we are introduced to a host of other people. But these two are our main characters so far. Then we come to storytelling step 2, which is called the problem. Okay? What is this problem? An event that disturbs the normal world. Okay? So right now we just set up the normal world. This is the way it is. There is this town, beach town, and people come all over there. It's a time for enjoyment, fun, taking in the sun, getting some tan, etc. We meet the sheriff who is in charge of the security. We meet the mayor. We meet the sheriff's family. We meet the townspeople. All the vendors and the vacationers, everybody. This is the normal world in Amity. Peaceful, fun beach town. Now, the problem will be something that disrupts this normal world. Okay? In Jaws, the event that disrupts the normal world is a shark attack. Now, people want to swim in the ocean. It's pure blue water, nice sun beating down their back. They want to go for a swim. And as they're doing it, a shark attacks the swimmer. Now, this is a problem, right? This has disturbed the normal world. And panic ensues. because of this. Now the problem has now created consequences called the struggle. The problem must be removed. The problem necessitates removal of the problem. Hence, struggle is going to begin to remove the problem. Okay? Step number 3, storytelling step number 3, struggle. The problem necessitates its removal, hence struggle. Now, this struggle can happen in stages, like different kinds of struggle to remove the problem. Let us see how they are illustrated in the movie Jaws. Now, there is an argument, the conflict between the sheriff and the mayor, mainly because the sheriff, who is responsible for security of the town, wants the beaches to be closed because it's dangerous now. Other vacationers are going to come. And what if the shark attacks them? So he's thinking in terms of security and wants to close the beaches until the shark problem is solved. But the mayor says, if you close the beaches, we lose all revenue. And what about the reputation of the town? Nobody is going to come here next year, right? We lose our revenue, we lose our reputation. So many people will, run losses, lose jobs because of this. So he's like, no, he's in denial. Nothing will happen. Let the beaches be open. We'll take care of it parallelly. Now there is a conflict there, right? The struggle. This is a struggle caused by the problem of shark attack. This is a conflict number 1. Step number 1 here in the struggle. Now, as they're convincing the mayor that, what happens is actually another attack happens. He doesn't close the beach soon enough. Another attack happens and he's forced to close it down. And now they have to solve the problem. It becomes serious. So what they do is they get 2 experts, shark experts. Okay. So one is a theoretical expert, as in he's an oceanographer, which means he has studied all the, he's an expert in ocean animals, the animals that live underwater in the ocean and their behavior, especially sharks and whales. How they hunt, what is their lifestyle, etc., etc. He has all the knowledge of it. And the other guy, the guy on the left of the picture, is a shark hunter. Now he has practical experience of hunting sharks elsewhere. They bring him. And the sheriff decides that he will go and lead this mission of killing the shark and getting rid of the problem. So the 3 of them, go on a boat to the middle of the ocean, trying to find the shark and kill it. But it's not so easy. They have a conflict of rapport between themselves. The theoretician does not like the shark hunter. The shark hunter does not think much of the theoretician, the oceanographer. The sheriff has to keep them together, keep their morale up, make sure everything is fine, and take them towards the common goal of getting rid of the shark. So this is the second part of the struggle in Jaws. First part was the conflict between the mayor and the sheriff. And now it is the rapport between the 3. That is the next problem in the struggle. And then final struggle is the shark itself. It shows itself. It shows how big it is. They realize that their boat is very small. If the shark hits it, the boat will topple. And so, they have to come up with ideas to keep it at bay and, also get it in sight so that they can shoot it. But in the process, what happens is the oceanographer, the boat topples halfway. He's fallen and, stuff is on him and he's not able to get up. And the shark hunter is actually eaten by the shark. He falls into the water. And so that is the height of the struggle. The struggle began with a conflict with the mayor and the sheriff, went on to the rapport and how are they going to plan the killing of the shark, then face to face with the shark itself. That is the height of the struggle. Now, what happens as a result of the height of the struggle? Either the shark will win or these people will win. That event is called resolution. It's a do or die thing. The final consequence of the struggle is called the resolution. Who wins finally? What is the end result of the struggle? Success or failure? Okay, that is called the resolution. In Jaws, the resolution is a final face-off between the sheriff and the shark, one-on-one. The other two are, one is dead, one is rendered helpless. Now it's just him, one harpoon, one shot, and the shark is right there. He misses the shot, he is gone. He takes the shot, shark is gone. And so finally, he takes the shot, and the shark blows up. Sorry for the gory image, but they're all there. That's all CG. And the shark menace is gotten rid of. Now the vacationers can come back. The beaches are safe, temporarily at least, and things can go on as normal. But why do we call it the new world? Why is it not the normal world? Again, to remove the problem, you must go back to the normal world, right? Why do we call it new world? The new world is because everything is somehow back to normal, but with some change, some increased understanding about the world. So the change that has happened in the normal world due to the problem and the struggle and the resolution. Now we are more wiser, probably. We know a lot more. And so our new world will look different. For example, now when we were in the New York Film Academy, we had no, our routine was not to lock our apartment door because nobody would come in, see. That was generally the thing that was going on there in one particular location. That was the normal world. But then one day, somebody's, stuff went missing. There was a robbery. Okay. And the robber, gave a police complaint and the robber was caught and all of that. And they got back their stuff. But what is the new world now? Locked doors. Understand? Everything else, I got my stuff and everything, etc. But now the doors are going to be locked. Or at least we're going to be careful from here on. That is an example of the new world. The change in the normal world due to the problem, struggle, and resolution. In Jaws, we get back to the peaceful island state of amity. Vacationers are going to come in, but now they have better preparedness. They are more wary. It's not that another shark cannot come. If another shark comes, they're going to close the beach quicker. Unlike last time, they're going to employ people quicker. They'll know exactly how to catch the shark, etc. They'll put up more boards saying this is a shark infested area, be careful. Go to swim at your own risk, etc. So this is the new world, the changes that have occurred because of the problem, the struggle, and the resolution. So these are the 5 storytelling steps, and you can find them in any good story you've read in books, novels, etc., or plays if you have watched one, any TV show, TV series, movies, etc. The media are different. Books are a different medium, TV is a different medium, theater is a different medium, movies are a different medium. But all of them will contain these 5 basic steps. Now within that, depending on whether it's a half an hour thing or a 2-hour thing or a 1-hour thing or a 15-minute thing, story, they will change a little bit of the steps. Sometimes they may have only 4, sometimes they may combine 2 steps, sometimes they may start with the problem, right? They may not set up the normal world. Within the normal world, the problem is already existing. They may start like that, and so on and so forth. But these 5 steps are there. If you go back and watch something, today or in the next week or the next month, you read a book or watch a movie, you like it, you go back and check if these 5 story steps are there. I guarantee you they'll be there. Okay. So these are the basics of storytelling. Just reiterating the steps: normal world, problem, struggle, resolution. Now, I want two volunteers. I want two actors actually. Anybody? Anybody willing to volunteer? Okay, since nobody's willing to volunteer, I'll just narrate the story, narrate a story in its entirety. I wanted you to perform it, but I'll narrate it. Um, Listen to it carefully, and then I want you to recognize the 5 storytelling steps in it. Or if one step isn't there, you have to be able to tell me, right? So just listen to this story and tell me the 5 storytelling steps inbuilt in it. Okay. Now, there is a businessman who is known to be very, very punctual, almost to the extremities of having an OCD about it. He has a flight next morning, early next, about 8 o'clock or something. And he has never missed a flight in his life. In his life. Okay, that's his biggest fear, missing a flight. He's going on a business trip. Now, previous night itself, he's kept everything ready, right? The bag where he carries his, passport, etc., the ticket, plane ticket. And he has called for the cab, he's going to be here like 3 hours before or 4 hours before. Everything is set and he has gone to bed. Okay. Morning he wakes up, checks that everything is in order, make sure that the cab is on its way, the geyser is heated, his tickets and his passport are all, intact, and he goes out to take a shower, gets ready, comes out, and then to his surprise, he sees an old man, some unknown old man, walking into his house, thinking that it is his own house. It is obvious to the audience that the old man has lost his way. The old man also knows it, but he can't remember where he came from. And he has to go back to his house. But he is not leaving this house because he is tired. He wants water. So he asks the businessman, can you give me some water? The businessman gives some water to it, hoping that he'll drink the water and leave so that he can get on with his thing. The cab is coming anytime and waiting downstairs. But while drinking the water, the old man now asks for coffee. He says that, he wants some coffee in the morning, otherwise he can't function. So now he goes and makes coffee and brings, hoping that he'll drink coffee and leave. But in the process of drinking coffee, he spills it on the business. Okay. Now the businessman is pissed off because he has to now change his shirt or his jacket. So he goes to change, and the old man follows him into the changing room. The businessman is like, please go out. I know I need to change. I'm getting late. Now it's like, it's time is ticking by now. Been a while now. Now he says, the old man says, no, I need to use the restroom. Please, can you show me where the restroom is? Shows him, this is where the restroom is. Please go, refresh yourself and leave. Now, as he changes into new clothes and comes out, the old man comes out and says, now I changed my mind. I don't want to use the restroom. I'm going to help you get ready. By now, the businessman is frustrated. He wants to throw this old man out of the house and get on with it because he's already getting late. Now, as he's pushing the old man out, the old man, holds his head because he's feeling dizzy and he's about to fall when the businessman catches him. The old man says, I'm hungry. I've not eaten anything. I went to get some medicine which I have to take before I eat, but I lost my way and I came here. So the businessman now is like where, which medicals, where is your house, etc. Where are your people? But he doesn't remember anything. Then the businessman puts his hand in the pocket of the coat of the old man and finds the prescription of the doctor and the previous medical shop bills and etc. And he now has a decision to make. If he takes the old man there, gets his medicine, finds him a taxi or whatever, or drops him home, he's going to miss his flight. But if he doesn't do that, if he leaves the old man to himself and catches his flight just in time, if at all, then the old man, might get into further trouble. To go or not to go? That is the question for the businessman. The businessman finally takes pity on the old man because he reminds him of his father now and takes him home, knowing fully well that he's going to miss his flight for the first time. He actually decides to help the old. Now, can you tell me up to what was the normal world? What was the normal world? Anyone?
What is the question, sir? Up to normal. What is it?
What was the normal world in this story? Did all of you hear the story?
Not so clearly, sir. I am keeping in 100% my volume. Maybe some interruption.
Could the others hear? Or is it a problem with my thing?
It was audible, sir.
Audible. So can you
Yes.
tell me what is the normal world in this story? Anybody? Was it difficult to make out the normal world, or did you not hear the story at all? Guys, first of all, we are, interacting online through the screen. If you don't respond at all, we will not be able to move forward.
Participants, you can kindly unmute and answer to the question.
Do you really want to learn business storytelling? Okay, I'll just finish it off quickly and we'll end this session. So the normal world was when the businessman, we set up that the businessman is punctual, he has his ticket intact, he has his cab called, and he has never missed a flight in his life, and he is all set to be on time again so that he can catch his flight. So we know this much about the businessman. So he gets up in the morning, makes sure everything is in line, takes a shower, gets ready, comes out. Up till now is the normal world. Now the problem comes when the old man walks. Okay, the old man has lost his way, and he is now the problem for the businessman because he is the obstacle for him to get to his flight on time. Right? He is the problem. Now, the problem necessitates the removal, I said, during the storytelling step. And so, the old man has to be sent away for the businessman to, go back to his routine of catching the cab and going to the airport on time and catching his flight on time. But the struggle begins here in the process of removing the problem. He doesn't know how to initially. He's an old man. He can't just, force him out. He's trying to ask him who you are, where did you come from, where do you need to go, etc. Then he asks for water, the old man. So the businessman gives him water. Then he asks for coffee. He makes coffee and brings. Then he spills the coffee. Now he's further delayed because he has to change his clothes on top of, sending this man out. And as he's changing his clothes, the old man is following him because he's kind of, lost his this thing. And now he says, I want to use the restroom. See how many steps of the struggle are there. You see. So then he's like, okay, fine. And then he says, I changed my mind. I don't have to go to the restroom now. I'll help you get ready. By now, the conflict has reached its height because it's now or never for the businessman if he wants to catch his flight on time, which he always has and has never missed. Now it's a moment of decision. So he says, I'm going to push him out. I've been courteous enough, polite enough, but he doesn't seem to understand. So I have to push him out. So frustrated, he wants to push the old man out. When the old man, starts to, his head starts to spin, he's about to fall, he catches him, he finds out the the medical store and in the doctor's prescription. Now this is where the struggle's height has been reached, because now we have to make a decision. Should I leave him or should I go? Or should I stay? Or should I take him to his house? Up to that is the struggle. So there are multiple steps of struggle. Then the resolution is the businessman taking pity on the old man and takes him home, knowing fully well that he's going to miss his flight for the first time. But the end of that struggle is he's made a decision to go and accompany the old man to his house after getting him his medicine. What would be the new world here? The businessman has learned for the first time to step out of his comfort zone. For the first time, he's thinking about something other than his own need to be on time all the time. Him stepping out of the comfort zone creates a new equilibrium or a new world for him, because he has done something that he has not done before. That is the new world. Okay. So this is the essence of storytelling. It would have been more effective if you could have performed it. Anyway, the essence of storytelling is there is a discernible change of events from one step to the other. First, we set up the normal world. Then it turns into a problem. That turns into a multi-step struggle. That turns into a resolution. That eventually turns into a new world. So you see, there is change happening so that our brains are engaged. Correct? If it is stagnating and nothing is happening, our brains disengage. And on top of this, if you add emotion to this, if you add some heart to this, it appeals to your wholesome self, and then you take the story home with you. You will not forget it. This is in essence effective storytelling. Okay. Now, we'll take a break, but it's a kind of a working break. What I want you to do is, Shodan, how many people are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13? 13, right?
13 people, yes.
Okay. Can you divide them into 5, 5 and 3 randomly into breakout rooms?
Okay.
3 breakout rooms. Now what you have to do is, as a team, each one of you have to, as a team, you have to come up with a 2-minute story. Okay, not even 2 minutes. You can just say 1 line for normal world, 1 line for problem, 1 line for, or 3, 4 lines for struggle, 1 line for resolution, 1 line for new world. It's a fictional story, not your startup enterprise story, not your product or service, anything related to that. Totally fictional. Go wild, go crazy, write anything fantasy story or action or adventure or thriller, mystery or normal life story, whatever it is. Each one of you will have to narrate 1 step from the team. Okay. Those having only 3 members in the team, you can decide who will, amongst yourself, that I will narrate 2 steps, you narrate 2 steps, then the third person will narrate the final step, or however you want to do it. But each one of you must narrate 1 step of the storytelling process. And you don't need to say, okay, this is the normal world or this is the, no, just narrate the story, but incorporate the normal world problem, struggling steps, and then the resolution and new point. Okay. So we'll take a break. We'll come back at 4. And as you can take a break for like, 5 minutes, and then you can go into the breakout room. You decide, Shodhan. We'll come back by 4 with your fictional stories, fun stories ready for narration. All right. So use the storytelling step and come up with the story as a team, and each member narrate one step of the story. Very simple. Clear? Any questions? Okay. So I'll see you at 4 o'clock.
Sure, sure, sure.
Shodhan sir, you are going to make the team? Okay.
Yes, sir. I think I have made it. You can join now.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
you got that request.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So Silesh, you can join the breakout room.
Can you have the people back, brother?
Yes, sir. I'll close the rooms. Yes, sir. Now all are back.
Okay, great. Um, our, I don't think everybody is here, are they? Okay, is this everybody?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so I don't know what teams you were grouped into. So whoever is ready, can you start narrating? One line for normal world, one line for or one or two lines for normal world, one line for conflict, 2-3 lines for struggle, one for resolution, one for new world. So you can start one after the other. You can continuously start to narrate.
Yes, Mr. Sailesh, if you could start room 3, you are in room 3.
So who are in your team, Silas?
Myself, Shashi and Harish Bhatt. Yeah,
Three
this
of
is
you.
a one
The
small
three,
incident.
one
One,
second, sir. One second, Silas. Can the three of you in the team please turn your cameras on? I want to hear you narrate. I also want to see you. So please turn your cameras on, the three of you in the team. Thank you. Who's the other person? Shashi Kumar. Right? Can you turn your camera on, Mr. Shashi Kumar?
Shashi Kumar.
Okay. So please
Yeah,
narrate
is there. Yeah.
whatever you guys have decided amongst yourself. You please narrate that.
This is one of the small incident happened during our journey, basically. It was we are planned to one of my friend have planned to go to Sikkim for a tour. So he went to everything as you said earlier in your story. So he has prepared for his journey, etc., and all those things, and he got the flight, and he has gone to Sikkim. Once he went to Sikkim, and when he boarded, he had two incidents, which really I also accompanying that guy. We had two incidents which happened. The first incident was when I went to the when we have booked a pre-book one taxi we have booked, but he has not come. The reason there is in Sikkim from going from Gangtok to Bagdogra, there is a huge problem in between because there might be some possibilities of traffic jam. So there was a huge traffic jam. So that guy from Gangtok has not come to this side. So there was a totally cut off. So we are waiting. Both of us were waiting in the Bagdogra to go to Gangtok. So then finally, we what we did was we there was some taxi people on the outside the Bagdogra who is telling us to book the taxi, and somehow we went to Gangtok. So it took us actually the time is about 3 hours, but it took us 8 hours. So morning 9 o'clock we started, 6:30 in the evening we reached there. This is the one incident happened, and from there we went to Lucerne, and we also know that we are aware that recent times in Sikkim there was a lot of flood happened. So we stuck in that flood also. So this was the second problem we faced. So we are totally isolated in Lucerne. We are able to come out of that one. So we are totally isolated for 2 days. But of course, there were military people and of them they are so cooperative over there. But finally, we came out of that Lucerne, came to Gangtok, and from there coming to Bagdodara, it took us 3 hours. And after that, the things were went off. But the problem what we faced, no, it was I'd say it is very hard. It was very difficult, I can say. And so this is one of the small incident happened, which I think it narrates the normal world, the difficult world, and finally coming out with the overall purpose. This is one small
So,
incident.
yeah, so the problem was the traffic, the taxi driver did not come, correct? On time.
Nature calamity, and because of that, basically, going from Bagdodra to Gangtok, usually 3 hours, but calamity might happen. Sometimes some the on the road the big rock has fallen. That's a problem. So it is totally cut off from this side to that and from that side to this. It happened in the month of September recently. So this
Okay.
is the one small story, not story, the incident, real incident happened in our life. I think along with us, other families who have traveled to Bagdodara and who has gone to Lucerne, all of these people have faced the same problem. Because and I also saw that the people coming from Gangtok to Bagdodara, they have missed the flight also, because the
Okay.
people generally what they do is they take the morning flight, if the morning taxi, if the flight is in the evening. So there was a totally I can say it was not good.
Very nice.
But
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's a challenging experience
it's
to
challenging
go through.
experiences.
Mm. But do you think all the 5 steps were there in your story? Do you think?
Yeah, something it was there. Normal life going till Baghdad is a normal, and from there the difficult the things all those happened.
But 5 steps, there are 5 steps. Okay, what was the problem?
Problem is going from Baghdad to Gangtok. That's
No,
a problem.
that is what you wanted to do. That can't be a problem,
But while going to
right?
the Baghdad, no, there was a traffic jam, stopping,
Ah,
and
those are the struggles. That is the struggle.
yeah, struggles.
Ah.
It is some kind of problem only. So we are not aware the new place
Okay,
because
what you can do in this story is your first problem was what? What was your first issue you faced?
taxi,
Taxi
getting
didn't
taxi.
come, right?
Yes,
So that was the problem. So
yes,
because of the delayed taxi, uh, the traffic had piled up, you can say,
yes, yes, yes,
and from there your struggle began. From
yes,
there, your floods happened. That is next part of the struggle,
yes,
and
yes.
then the flight's not coming in. All that is another part of the struggle. Okay, and finally, the resolution is what? How did you reach Gang after that? After the flood?
No, after the flood, anyway, it got subsided. So we are
Yeah,
there only. So it's
yeah,
a otherwise it is not highly impossible. You can't come. You have to
yeah.
be in that place only.
Yeah, it's an interesting story, but all the 5 steps do not exactly fit into this story
Okay,
because
okay.
everything is dependent on a natural disaster. Some things that were
Yeah, yeah,
beyond your
something like
control.
that. Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because you personally couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
So, right, like you could not okay, just because there is traffic, you didn't take side road, or if there was a flood, you didn't
there is no
go
side
around.
road. There is no side road. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, yeah. But thank you for telling the story.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank
Let's have the next team do that. So then, can you identify the next team?
Next team, Mr. Kiran.
Please turn your cameras on as they call out your name, please.
Mr. Kiran, can we have Mr. Yes, Mr. Tushar, if you could also. Mr. Kiran, you're there?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Tushar.
So I don't know if Mr. Kiran is there, but our story is initially the normal world. Our story is set in Malpe, the beach.
Okay.
So this is based on some true events that happened. So what has happened is in Malpe they had installed some time back a sea walk, a portable sea walk kind of thing they had installed, which is basically a floating bridge, which is modular and can be connected and elongated and shortened as we want. And this bridge was inaugurated with a lot of pomp and circumstance. And so the normal world is what's happening is people are enjoying the bridge and people are enjoying the beach and they're having a good time. But all of a sudden, once the rainy season started and the sea became a little rougher and there was more winds, this floating bridge was becoming unstable with the waves of the beach and with the wind. It was started disintegrating. And what happened? Some people who were on it also fell into the water. I think some prominent people also were there who fell into the water, and that became an issue. So that was the problem. And then what happened was some of the district officials wanted to shut it down, say that this we don't want to do it anymore. But what happened was some other people in the district wanted to keep it because it was a tourist attraction. So they wanted to find a solution for this. So the struggle was they approached some engineers from NITK, their oceanography and engineering division, and they did some research on this. They found out what was the issue. They found that it was not anchored properly and the fasteners they were using was not appropriate. And they have done the research and found a solution for it. And as of now, it is working properly and people are using it. And now what's happened is initially people were a little reluctant to use it, but as time went on, people started using it. So it is a new world is that people are more cautious, but because the incident has happened, but they are using it and they are enjoying it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So all the steps were there. It's almost like Jaws without the shark. Your story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully, without the shark.
Yeah.
Wonderful. See, it's a very neat story. This is, when you structure it like this in the 5 steps. Only thing, if you can
Yeah.
add some emotion during the struggle or during the problem. Not saying you cook up something.
Yeah.
If there was an event that,
Yeah.
okay, instead of saying the bridge got unstable, but because of that, somebody you knew fell into the water or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Make it more
became a
personal.
life, more personal. Make it more personal. It became a kind of a life risk,
Yeah.
to some people. And so that then the meaning for the struggle becomes stronger. When the problem is strong,
Yeah.
because of that, there are personal things at stake, and also it is a tourist attraction, you say. So there's a community emotion to it. Like, we must, somehow fix this. So if you can bring these elements of emotion into like a scary, use words like, the tilt or the bridge, the instability was, scary because it could have given way anytime. And people coming from outside didn't have an idea what they were getting into. See, now how you build emotion into this story. You're not taking anything. You're telling the fact, but you're saying it in a way where the reader is interested when you use words like scary, unstable, life risk. And then you give the solution, it is much more satisfying. Then you got an oceanographer. Oh, thank God. Okay, finally somebody came to save this whole setup. So just a tinge of emotion added to this, you can explore this, where you can add a little more emotion without faking it, of course. Then it becomes a stronger story. So this is what I was talking about, but very wonderfully done. All the 5 steps are there. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
The third team, Chodhan, can you identify?
Dr. Ram, would you like to share a story? or Miss Caroline,
Yeah.
you're there.
Anybody from the team? Anybody from the team?
Priyanshu.
Have you guys come up with a story? Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah,
Yes,
you
yes.
are. Priyan. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a fictional story that's set up in our normal world itself. So a very famous hair care company, they introduce a new shampoo. So they do very creative marketing and they promote it really well, and so the people are very excited about the product, and there's a very high huge sales of the shampoo. So that's the normal world setting. Next, what the problem arises is some users notice that there are side effects of the shampoo, like there is unregulated hair loss after using the shampoo.
Okay.
And then later, when they dig into it and see what went wrong, they see that in the shampoo formulation, what happens is there's a chemical ingredient that has been added that will increase the other properties of the shampoo, like the foaming and the texture of the shampoo, but it adversely affects uh, the hair cells of the humans. So, upon further research, what people get to know is this chemical component is present in almost every famous shampoo that's in the market. And this awareness, initiates researchers and enthusiasts to look for alternatives to this chemical, and they come up with formulations which are 100% herbal or chemical free, and that's the resolution. And slowly the people shift towards the herbal shampoo part, like without any chemicals and free from any
That
side
would be the
effects.
new world. That would be the new world. People going for non-chemical alternatives for the shampoo. That
Yeah,
would be the new world, right? Wonderful. Thank you so much, Priyanshu. See, again, that carried all the
thank you,
5
sir.
steps, and it made the story more listenable, and you can make sense of the story when you present it in this order, in this 5 steps. So thank you all for participating in that. Now we've done the fictional story. Now it's time to apply this to your business story. Okay, you've learned the 5 steps very clearly. You've applied it to a fictional story. You've also heard a story that I narrated, and you could identify the 5 steps there. Now, how about we apply this to our business stories, our ideas, our products, our services that we are endeavoring to bring into the mainstream market, or sell your idea, or get funding or pitch it to an investor, etc. Because this is very important. The way you present your idea is as important as your idea itself. People don't buy into your idea, they will not buy your product. Okay, so which is why business storytelling is crucial. Nowadays, it is the number one thing that that people take seminars and workshops and stuff on startups, especially because it is all about you selling your idea, whether it's to a customer or to an investor or to the media or whatever it is. How you communicate your idea is everything. So the clarity in communication comes if you know this is how I'm going to structure my story. Excuse me. Of course, you know your product better than anybody else. I'm sure you also have the confidence that this will make a difference, this will sell, etc. But if you can't put that across, then you're going to face hurdles and obstacles in getting it through. Like people buying into the thought of your product, the idea behind your product, being impressed by it, willing to invest in it, willing to share it. You have to create, your people must gravitate towards your idea or your product. And storytelling is the number one way to do that. Please take your writing your business stories very seriously. Now, using these 5 steps, how can you apply this to your business? Now, we said the first step was normal world. Can anyone tell me what would be the normal world with respect to your particular story? Or any business story? There I said the normal world was how things are, the status quo, okay? How things function currently at the moment. Now, in your business story, the status quo is in your particular industry or discipline or field, how things function. Okay, how things function. For example, there was this business storytelling that we did for a herbal company, a company that does not use chemicals. They wanted to work with farmers, but when they went and saw, people had already sold pesticides to the farmers because there were pests growing in one guy in Bengal. There was one farmer in Bengal whose farm was like riddled with pests, locusts actually. Locusts were ruining the crop. So he got panicked, and people made use of the panic. Chemical companies, they sent their representatives and said, sell chemicals and tell them that. And the poor farmers were like, bought it, that okay, any problem that, I want to get rid of this problem, that's all. And so they sprayed a lot of chemicals onto the ground of this thing, from where the fumes would actually kill the locusts. But what did is it scorched the earth. The soil was burnt because of the chemicals, and it became unfertile. That one so-called solution, chemical solution, actually ruined the land forever. That is whatever bits of land the chemicals were applied to. Okay. So the normal world was chemicals are being used to solve the pest problem, but they are compounding a problem and making it a bigger problem. That is how the normal world is in that particular story, in that industry. And then my client, the one I taught the business storytelling to, she went, found this out, and then a spark of insight came to her because she's a top class chemical engineer in the country. And she has her own lab and everything. She then had an insight that, can I replicate the effect of killing the pest without ruining the soil and the plant? For which she gathered a team and made products, okay, that would take a little longer than a chemical to solve the problem, but it would keep the land, the earth intact. It would not ruin the earth. And so she did it. But the problem, the next part of the struggle was, how do you sell this concept to the farmers? Okay. Because they're used to the chemicals being sprayed. And they would take the loss. Okay, this part of my land is now unusable. I can't do anything about it. They would till another land, another part of the land. But then she created a community of farmers. Okay. And presented the new product, the one with no chemicals in it, and explained the pros and cons to them. Created a community, made them have debates about it. Okay. And then finally they adapted that, that product into their, farming. As a result of which, none of them are losing even a small bit of their land to chemicals, ruining the land. That stopped happening. So this is how her business story was designed by us and given to her. And these are actually facts. But the way we designed it was, we gave the farmer, we went into the farmer story actually, how it matters to him that every square inch of that farm is used, because he has a family to feed. He has an extended family to feed. This is all a true story, right? If he loses this much, 5 square feet of land, that much less he's going to earn for his big family, right? So the struggle of the farmer who seems helpless because on the one hand he has to get rid of the pest. In getting rid of the pest, he's losing his land or the worth of the land, value of the land. That is his problem. From the farmer's point of view. And the farmer's point of view, the struggle was, what is the solution? Right? But from my client's point of view, the problem was to convince the farmer. He had a spark of insight. He understood the normal world, that chemicals are destroying the land. She came up with a spark of insight, which is that let me make a product which will take care of this problem without ruining it. Then, because it takes a little longer than a normal chemical, she had to create this whole community of farmers, bring them, under one roof, explain to them, and then demonstrate to them the effectiveness and the long-term effectiveness of the solution. And then they bought into it. And because everybody is buying into this idea, not it was not like one farmer is like thinking I'm using this non-chemical thing, that farmer is using, it didn't happen like that. They all started using it together. And then that whole area of farmers started using their product. And that was a new world. So this is how you add it to your business story. It can be a personal story of how you have struggled to create the product. That is one way of doing the business story. Another way is like how this product solves a long-term societal gap. Okay. So, for example, normal world. In the medical industry, in let's say surgical oncology, so and so things currently exist. But the problem is, it is, for example, chemotherapy. It is creating, compounded problems for people who undergo chemotherapy. Side effects are too much. Okay. Now this is the problem. How are you going to solve? Now the struggle to find an alternative solution. What are they going to do? Step number one, how is there an alternative? If you are in that industry, you are a startup, medical startup, you are like, I have this solution, this service, this product, or this whole package I have, which will be an alternative to chemotherapy. But to create that product could be your struggle, or you have the product, but to convince people might be your struggle. You understand? And then finally, the resolution is like, what are you now doing to fix the problem? And what is your solution? How is your product or service fixing the problem that exists? Understand? Any questions about this? So the normal world is, which industry are you in? What is going on currently? How things function currently? Then, what is the problem with this setup? Then, what is the spark of insight you have that made you decide I am going to provide the solution? Then, how did you struggle to actually bring about your product, get it demoed, or, get co-founders or get people to be interested in investing in it, etc. What are you doing to fix the problem that you identified in step number 2? What is your final solution? This particular product is an alternative to chemotherapy, for example. That is my product. This is how it's going to solve the problem. And new world is, what's your mission? What is the value proposition of your product or service for the larger society? This is how the world will look like if everybody uses my product. That's your new world. That's your mission. I'm sure you all have written vision statements and mission statements. Whatever is your mission statement, that is how the world will look like if everybody uses my product. That is your new world. Okay? I'll give you another example of people we worked with to get their business story run. Now, there were two people who were beer connoisseurs. They liked drinking beer. Okay. But they were bored of this industrially brewed lager because they found them the stuffed in bottles. They were very stuffy, like long time they would be sitting in bottles. They would not be fresh. And this is what dominates the beer market. This is the normal world. The problem lies that the the beers are stuffy and old. They are industrially brewed, mechanically brewed, and they are not of high quality. Now, the spark of insight these people had, which we incorporated in the story, why don't we do this ourselves by doing the opposite of what the problem is? If they are old, stuffy beer, then let's make fresh, new beer. Instead of machine bottling it, we will hand bottle. This is the spark of insight they had. We recognize the problem, and if you can call it a problem, and we will now provide the solution. But now the struggle begins. They were very young at that time. They didn't have too much money. They pulled up whatever money they had and leased the building in a locality, some locality. But that was not enough. They needed some capital and nobody was willing to invest. So they got some scary bank loan. We use the term scary bank loan. Because if the product does not work, like they'll have trouble, repaying it. Rest of the money they had, they all spent it on making hardcore craft beer. Just on the product, the robustness of the product and the freshness of the product. Whatever needed to be done, they spent money on that. And the resolution of this story, what were they doing to fix that problem? They are brewing in tiny batches. They are not industrially producing it wholesale, which brings in the machines and all of that, the over stuffiness and the staleness and all of that. They brewed it in small batches so that it remains fresh. They filled the bottles by hand, okay, and sold their beers at local markets. And then we asked them, like, how did you sell them? Like, what did you do? Like, did you go like by foot to here and there? He said, no, we had an old van in our house, in our garage, which we actually kind of, dusted it off, got it serviced and whatnot, painted it and all. And in the back of the van, we would have our beer bottles, go to the local market and sell it. This is the resolution. Now the problem might come when they need to scale it up, but that problem is currently solved by them. In the new world, their mission was when they set up the enterprise. The intention was their mission was to make people who are passionate about craft beer, okay, know that this solution exists and you have access to it. That is their mission. So they have built their story around these elements. Okay, what was the problem they encountered in the normal world? Industrially brewed beer, stuffy, stale, boring, old. Then they had a spark of insight. We will fix this problem by doing the opposite of what the problem. Then the struggle to achieve that was there. They started their own brewery, started brewing in tiny batches, but no money, had to take loans, had to lease out a building, cumbersome, filling it by hand, how to get support for this, how to get more hands, how to convince them, etc. And then finally the resolution, which is they now started making more and more. More people have joined in. They still do the same process, but more people do it so that they can scale it up a little. So this is, they're using words in their story, business story, like scary bank loans, stuffy beer, tiny batches, passion in the making of it, selling it themselves in the back of their old van. That's a beautiful story. People connect to it. Forget about the product. I'm saying like I only building it with my hand. I'm bringing it in my vehicle and I'm selling it myself. I'm not saying every product has to be that, but find stuff in your story that will resonate with people. What would people like? What can I include here that people will like about this story? Not something made up. It already exists within my story. I'm just bringing it out. I'm highlighting it. Okay. So this is how you apply it to your business story. What is the problem that exists in your industry currently, specifically with your particular product? What is the problem that existed? How your spark of insight helped you come upon the idea of the product? What was the struggle to get it going? And then what is the resolution? My product does this, solves this problem in this industry. And if more people use it, this will be the new world. This is how you have to write your business story. Now, initially, the people who told you stories, Dr. Ram is here. Who else said the story?
Yes, sir,
Harish
I am
Bhatt.
there. I am there.
Harish Bhatt is there. And everybody else, please write your business stories using the 5 storytelling steps. Even if you write 2 lines each, that's enough. Okay, for now. But write it in this structure, the normal world in my industry, who, what, where, when, etc. What is the problem in this? What is the gap I see? Spark of insight. What, how I intend to fill it. Right? This is the name of my product, and this will solve the problem. Then the struggle that you had to get it made. Okay, it could be how you had to convince somebody or how you had to get some funding or whatever. The struggle you spent to build that product. Okay, and then resolution. This is my final solution to fix this problem. And then your mission, which is the new world. If people who are, we are in the mission of reaching it out to a large number of people, because using my product will do this. Okay. So I'll give you about 7 minutes, about 4:45. Please write it down. Please write it in this structure. 2 lines on each of the 5 steps. Apply it to your business. Okay. And then I'll come back at 4:45.
Sir, you're there?
So you're asking whom?
I was asking Sharad sir. Mentioned 4:45. Sharad sir, you are there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Dr. Ram, you have it?
Dr. Ram is there.
You're starting with me, sir.
Are you done, sir? Have you finished? Right?
Almost a struggle. I am struggling to have the struggle. Others are ready. I can add it while talking also if the time is a constraint.
Oh, you
We
can.
can just
tell us.
off tempo. I can tell the struggle part. So
Okay. Just
if
say the
you don't,
normal. Yeah.
yes, sir. If you
Go
don't
ahead.
constrain the time, I will try to finish as fast as possible. Otherwise, only time is in my mind. I am not able to explain you. Hope I will try to finish as fast as possible. Sir. See, the normal world which I see, what was normal. In between, I had network issue, but I tried to make up. See, the normal world which I had in Madurai, where I was grew up, it was a small city those days. You know, there is a cool life. My dad had a cycle only, bicycle. Where nobody had the two-wheeler and all. And I walk across Vaigai River and go to my school, even if there is a mild flood also. Carefree life, no pollution, no tension, and life was so good. And no dust pollution, no allergy, no corona. Everyone had a very relaxed life. Dad will be back by 6 o'clock. He will bring me back in the cycle. And most of the families had 3 kids on an average. You know, nowadays having one itself. Anyway, I'll come to the current world. So always they had a luxury to have 3 to 4 kids also. And there is better life work balance, no work life balance. They were all no pressure, no EMIs, no constraints of this kind of economical pressure, no insecurity of jobs, and they are all very productive, very relaxed, and hardly anybody had diabetes or BP. Not this much as what we have here. It's a relative term, no? That those good days, we had a freshly prepared food, mostly housewives. They care so much for our food, fresh, prepared, and they will care for you. So food is not was not an issue, and they had enough time to take care of us, and no corporate pressure. That is a great world those days. The so-called normal world was life was in our control. Corporate is taken over our brain, head, bone, blood, everything. So that was not there that time. So it was much relaxed life. So this was the ideal world or a normal world to me on those days. Now the problem faced is now life is in Chennai or Bangalore or even Mangalore is very fast paced. The fast paced has nasty meaning to me. Fast paced urban life with so much stress in everything, right from pollution, traffic, boss problem, work life balance, money ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. You'll get not time to spend with your and no time to eat only. Forget about preparing. No time to eat only. So ready fast food buying and poor eating habits. In one line, I want to say poor eating habit. Underline. That's it. That's the current situation. Metabolic disorders leading to metabolic disorders. It is not any other problem. It is our self-induced problems, sir. Especially BP, sugar, cancer. The sugar is something which kills you from inside. You will not even remember what you are doing. You will not be able to focus. You will get tired and you will get fired by the boss. So it is a whole cycle which all our middle class is getting into, or middle class or working class are. So this is the current issue. And unfortunate, many are getting cancer or colon ulcer. That is the ultimate creamy layer of the disease side. and which is affecting our healthy life. First is fertility. Crores are spent on fertility in all IT guys. They might earn money, pay to the bank, and pay to the fertility center. So this is the abnormal problem faced now, sir. And ultimately, it affects our productivity. We all say India is a growing power. India is great, but we are creating factory of unhealthy people here. Totally unhealthy, unproductive, in fact, which is going to explode on our face, sir. Solution is healthy eating option. I am just correcting one at a time. I cannot change your lifestyle. I cannot make you to run in the morning. I cannot wake you up at 5 o'clock. I cannot tell you to do yoga, but at least I give you an option, boss. You take something which is as fresh as your wife has prepared and given you on the table in a Sunday. And I'm going to give something like that. No chemicals, no preservatives. And it is amla, even wives cannot prepare because either it will not be available in the season, or in fact, third time I'm buying in my fridge and I'm not preparing it because it's cumbersome. You have to remove the seed, crush it, and taste is not good. Normal preparation, taste is not good. So ultimately, what I am going to give is a ready to use, ready to make, and easy to drink and very tasty alternate for caffeine drinks, which makes you sleepless and ulcer. Colas, which are cancerous and dangerous. Horrible shit it is. And we pay and take it with style. No, this is humble Indian. Go back to your roots. I am not selling any Mars or rockets, sir. Future world. I pray God that we all live with stress-free, healthy life. This is a minimum thing. It's not a luxury.
Wonderful.
And
Excellent.
productive, well-nourished life should be there, sir. These two, without this, we are gone. Productive and well-nourished. I can sell it to a corporate HR. Boss, your employee should be productive and keep him nourished. So you buy my product. So struggle is I don't know where to start, where to do the manufacturing, where to do the marketing channels, funding. So basically, I am a researcher. I had a long industry experience, but when you come to the real world, making money, I'm very poor on it. Making money is like only once in a month. Just now I got the message, Nite is credited. But other than that, I don't know anything on the struggle of making money, profit and all, sir. So this is my struggle. That's it. I think I covered, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. So I think it is much more well structured than your original story that you said in the beginning.
Yes.
It gives you a structure to put your whole story, business story into it. So basically, I want to conclude by saying that business storytelling is to be customized based on your listener. As I said, like what you said now is like a 2 to 3 minute pitch, right, of your product. In fact, you have not spoken about the what your product contains, how it is made, how it is prepared. You said it is healthy, etc. But what is the process through which you're preparing? All this you will have to also mention in your story when you present it to an investor, or even you hire somebody, or
the
for
technical
any
side
audience.
will be there. Yes.
Technical side will be there, but before you come to the technical side, if you capture them in the way, or if you can better it a little more, but you have it all in structured, but work on it and make it like the solution will be satisfactory if you have set it up before, like the problem and the struggle, if you have set it up very clearly, and what are the stakes involved if this problem continues. For that, my product is the solution, and this is how it will solve it. So you've said how your product is going back to our roots and healthy caffeine alternative, you said, but how are you going to make it? What is the process by which you make it? All that, if you can include in your story, it will become robust technically, and you've also, it's a very, very pertinent problem for urban people today. So there's going to be no problem in you convincing the need for this, but you will also have to focus on the technical aspects of how you're going to achieve it.
Sure.
No, if you go to an investor, they'll ask you, how are you going to do this? This is fine, this is a good idea, but how are you going to do it? That if it's already there in your story.
Yes, we have done that part. I have not, time constraint, I have not touched it. Narration.
I understand. For the purposes of this session, I understand you didn't have time to do that. But also play with your story, as in condense it. For example, in one line, if you have to, like an elevator pitch, you got literally 20 seconds with somebody. How will you say it?
Sir, this corporate life of, I'm talking to a HR manager or a HR vice president.
Yeah.
Sir, I am from a biotech. I am a scientist. I have developed something which is very helpful in reducing, de-stressing your staff, improves your memory and performance, improves your health, reduces your medical leave, and keeps his family happy and focuses himself on himself as well as his job. So it is nothing but completely naturally available vitamin C and other antioxidants, which are proven to have a very thorough benefit on a healthy life. That's all.
I'll give you one template, you can use it. Everybody who's here, in one line, I am developing dash. The dash is the product. I am developing the name of my product for dash, your target audience,
Yes, sir.
to dash, the problem you are solving.
Yes, sir.
Then using or with dash. This is your USP, unique selling point. What makes your product stand out from the others?
Yes, sir.
This is in one line. Now, in this one line, you can expand into the 5 storytelling steps. Okay, for 5 minutes, have one 5-minute one, have a 2-minute one, have a 30-second. And depending on how much time you have and who your target audience is, who you are going to pitch it to, you have to decide whether it's a 5-minute thing. If I have time and they are, they have the time, they're willing to listen, then you give them the whole thing. Okay, well structured. Keep writing, keep rewriting, keep writing, keep rewriting. Your story is very, very, very important. Okay, so you
Yes,
can
sir.
use template as basis to expand upon your story.
Yes.
And that is it. Like, just keep writing and writing and writing, so that when somebody asks you, immediately you will be able to narrate it. Okay. So
Like
have it
I
on.
did first time and second time. It's a rewriting
Exactly.
basically
Yeah.
today.
So if you do it 10 times,
hit
you can
me.
see how
That's the
exactly.
kind.
That was the exactly. See, in our head it is very clear, but for the somebody who's listening, we don't understand that. Okay, this might not be clear for them. So if you structure it this way, it becomes very, very easy to understand. Okay.
Sure.
All right. So
Sure.
your technical robustness, add some, emotions, use words that will at least evoke emotions, and you're set. All right.
Yes, sir.
So thank you everybody for participating, and thank you, Shodan, for moderating this. We'll end this session.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for
It
it.
was a very informative session. And most
Thank
of them
you.
actually have logged out because they are
Yeah,
maybe traveling at 4:30. They actually travel, maybe
Mhm.
due to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. We'll connect to you if anything required.
Absolutely.
Please guide us. Please
We'll
guide us. Or maybe we can send our what you call template
I
and
think, you can. My email ID is with
great. Sir. I'm quite
So you
serious
can-
to try my best.
Please
From
do,
academic
please do.
to middle class to business person. I dream. I hope so. I can do that.
You will be able to do it. All the best from my end,
Thank you.
and please reach out. If you want to have any development in your stories that you want to do,
Yes, sir. Yes.
corrections, you please contact. Yeah?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you, sir.
Bye.